You're right, guys. Crypto Type, the inflation avoider here. How is everyone getting on? Well, I've just had my birthday and been enjoying myself, just chilling out more than anything else. But I did get this cake, and yeah, very pleased with it. Still eating it, obviously. So I might put on a few pounds while I'm at it as well. So, what's been going on? Well, 1st of December, and what happens? We have another. I wouldn't even call it a crash really, but it was. Yeah, it saw prices drop again, Bitcoin going down. Will this never end? That is a question. Well, it does seem to have recovered fairly fast, but it does just make this 100,000 for Bitcoin always seem like it's not going to happen again, doesn't it? It feels like Bitcoin had its top in October, and what we are now in is a bear market. Either way, nothing really changes for me because the whole plan is a long term strategy anyway, and all my buying has been with that in mind. And I really do, I think more than anything else, I feel sorry for anybody who's been dabbling in meme coins or buying shit coins and chasing pumps. This is why I've said in all my videos all along, look, stop chasing coins, buy those quality projects. And that way you can't really go wrong because you know that there's a decent chance that in 4 years' time, well, these prices as they are now are not going to be too difficult to make a profit on. At least you're going to make a profit, worst case scenario. But when you're holding shit coins, when you're holding meme coins, you don't know whether they're going to die in the next year, let alone the next 4 years. There's going to come a time, as I've mentioned before, where I think crypto is going to be a survival of the fittest, where there'll only be a handful of really important crypto out there, altcoins and Bitcoin, that are going to be of any use to anybody. And the rest, because there's so many, are just going to die a death. They're going to find their level. And I think what we'll see is prices rise for those ones that are the solid projects, whether that be gradually or fast, I don't know. But what we will do is see some of, well, the majority of the rest just never return to the highs we've seen. And that is where meme coins are especially risky. It's not looking what they've done in the past, it's looking at how safe am I feeling if I'm holding them. And if I was holding meme coins now, or I'd been just buying coins because they're supposed to go up to $75 or they're supposed to go up to this, I'd be very, very, very worried now about being in a bear market. So a lot of lessons might be learned still, expensive lessons that the old way of doing things in crypto is no longer applicable. Luckily, I've been buying, as I say, with the long term in mind. It's always been 5, 10, 15 years' time for me. That is where I'm looking to make my profits. And I've been buying into projects that I believe in, that I know have solid foundations, and I believe have solid adoption. And that is something that will only improve over the price over the coming years. Sure, we'll go through a bear market, prices will get cheaper, and those things that I think are going to be excellent in years to come and still vital, your Ethereums, your Solanas, obviously Bitcoin, but then you've got other things like Chainlink and perhaps Avalanche, and maybe even Casper is coming into its own in 5, 10 years' time, and I'll be able to sweep up shit tons more than I would have been able to ordinarily with this being a bear market. You know, this becomes prime time for me where I start to be able to, first of all, probably accumulate in stable coins so I can just earn off of them while they're sat there, not Tether, of course. That's not my cup of tea. I don't trust it. Doesn't matter. I just don't trust Tether. And that way, when I do see the lay of the land with the prices and find good buying opportunities in the bear market, I can deploy that. Also, I've got money that will be coming in bulk, which will come from selling these things here. And the collection that I've got all around me, I'll be selling it in parts, and that'll come in. And rather than if I'd have got it 6 months ago, or 3 months ago, even maybe that money had come in 3 months ago, and I'd sold it when I was trying to sell it first time, I'd have been buying at the top. And now I'm thankful that I haven't sold them just yet, and I can be patient, play the long game. And the long game seems to be what works in crypto. Everybody keeps saying that. There's countless people who walked away and came back, and they regretted walking away, going, if I'd have just held what I had for 4 years, I'd have made a shit ton of cash. And I don't think this is any different. Just hold what you have. And I think perhaps with the changing ways of the market, that actually maybe an alt season's a bit of a distraction anyway. Maybe it pushes us off of our long-term strategy and brings us into this market where we're trying to make quick money, and it's trying to make quick money which it'll get people wrecked trying to chase quick money, and it's going to get worse is that. So being in it for the long game, getting solid projects that you have faith in is going to be vital now. And if in doubt, buy Bitcoin, because why not? And it's your best bet. That doesn't mean all my money is in crypto, and maybe in the meantime a bigger percentage will then carry on into traditional finance, gold, silver, and S&P 500 and whatever, just to bring profits that I can rotate into crypto when crypto has, as much as it can, bottomed out over the coming 4 years, and then really take advantage of prices at the bottom, and then take some profits, obviously, when the next bull market does finally come. But still, I think it's a great opportunity where we are now, whatever happens, and being able to be so relaxed about it is important. I don't know how other people are feeling. Some people may have got in over their heads and might desperately need alt season blow off top to come in. Otherwise, they're screwed. I think I said to somebody once in the comments, it was like, and this was back in October before the crash happened, and they were going, "What if this is the top?" And it's like, yeah, if it is the top, then we're all fucked. If you're thinking short term, you're fucked, really. If you were thinking, right, what I want to do is I'm going to get me what money I have into crypto, and then I want to make a profit, and I want to take that money out after alt season and buy what I need to buy with it, what I'd already planned to buy with it, even, then people are screwed, because it might not happen, and they'll be sweating, because not only might it not happen, what they've bought, well, they've turned their money into much less money than they had to begin with, and that is where the problems come in. That's why you shouldn't invest more than you can afford to lose. That money, if you have a strategy, you've got to have a strategy. Probably, I think in crypto, it's better to have a long-term strategy than a short-term strategy. Anything else is just get rich quick mentality, and that usually loses your money. It is usually those playing the long game that come out on top in the end. These are just all the things going around my head and making me quite pleased that I have thought long term, and I'm sticking to that strategy. I don't know about you guys. I think a lot of people who watch this have a long-term strategy anyway. It's those people that, I don't know, meme coins, things are changing, and I don't think people are fast enough to accept change either, and that's going to be problematic for some people. So if you're in it for the next 10 years, you're absolutely fine, I think. But it's not financial advice anyway. I'm not a financial advisor. And, at times like this, because I don't know what the future holds, I think that if I was a financial advisor, I still won't be in crypto, but I am. And my strategy will hopefully work, but there's no guarantees in life. So at least trying to stack things in your favor as much as possible is crucial. In other words, don't buy shitcoins. Their survival is just more linked to luck rather than anything else. There's no long-term plan to it. You're just relying on hype, and hype comes and goes, and sometimes it never comes back. But a good project with adoption will be adopted, getting used, and also with adoption comes more adoption as well. And one day in 5 years, hopefully, Casper will start to see adoption and that roadmap, which brings me on to the videos that I've got. I'm going to be doing them in parts to make it easier to follow. I've decided is the best way. So I'm working on them at the moment and they'll be out soon. But it'd be really, I think it'd be interesting for people to see what Casper's really about. And it is a good thing. Really, really positive videos. And also why it doesn't really matter about the whole Binance listing, and I still don't get why people go on about it so much. But the Casper thing as well, the price with that, still a little bit suspicious that Dagnite might be imminent. Now, there is something that Michael Sutton had said before that he wanted to do that and the ZK, which I'll explain in the video what all that's about, together, which would then delay the launch of that, because hopefully Dagnite could be out imminently. Otherwise, anytime by mid 2026, you'd imagine. But if you combined that with the ZK side of things, and you wanted to launch them together, you might be looking as late as 2027 before you see either. Now, I am actually quite happy waiting for them to come out together, personally, because that keeps Casper's price down. And that's what you want when you're accumulating, and that is a long-term strategy. So I hope Michael, the Michael Sutton way is the way it goes. Fingers crossed. You'll find out why anyway. When I do that video, I'll explain it in more detail. Anyway, not much else to say. That's just my thoughts at the moment as things stand. Anything could change in crypto. You know what it's like. There has been some positive news from the United States of America for crypto. So who knows? It might still be on this alt season, and we might be able to treat ourselves to a few bits and pieces next year as a result of it. But I wouldn't put all my hopes on it, and I would start now probably planning for a bear market as well. Well, planning the bear market more than anything else, and treating it as a pleasant surprise if we should get that alt season. But do remember what I did say all along: when we are all convinced that there is no alt season, that is when alt season will come. See what materializes. So never say never. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and do bear in mind I am still a tiny channel, so if you can hit that like button, it'd really help. And if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe. I'm just a normal bloke like anybody else, so we're all in the same boat together. So hit that subscribe button, and if you're a Casper hodler, definitely hit that bell icon as well, because it'll update you as soon as my Casper videos do come out. Anyway, all that's left to say is thank you ever so much for watching, and I shall catch you later, guys. Bye bye.